So maybe if you're being more selective about what you were using, it would only take an hour or 90 minutes, but we're using everything. We're using all of the stuff, so it's going to take much longer than that. A lot.
Unless we die quickly.
Unless we just explode and die by Adventure 3. I mean, and that's sort of, so getting back to it, I'm going to start off flying the Class C ships, which are the toughest in the game. I'll probably do very badly. I mean, I'm not super good at Galaxy Trucker I'm quite good at it when I've got the easy ships from the basic game. But anything after that level,
You'll see as we play just how silly and obscenely difficult that the Class C ships are going to get. I mean, that nice little design down the middle is going to be quite a bone for Mike's little...
It's called a space splice, and what it does is it simultaneously makes building your ship more difficult, and also it duplicates most of the... It can duplicate attacks against your ship. So sort of anything that comes at the front of the ship might be passed through the splice and be duplicated and hit it from both sides, or twice from one side instead.
Or just carry on hitting the front.
Don't ask me how it works.
We will find out as we play.
I'm not an astrophysicist.
No, you're a galaxy trucker. That's the whole point.
If I was an astrophysicist, I wouldn't be flying sewage ships through space. Then on top of that, we've actually got all of the components from the 2 big box expansions. So we'll be using all of these different components. And so in the basic game, you've got like cargo holds and crew cabins, like this one, and stuff like that, which is fine. With all the expansions, what happens is you get so much more. And the more components you have, the more difficult it gets to build the ship. So we've got all these different components, and
they have to match together perfectly.
But it's not just that. It's like there's so many great things in here, It's like in the basic game, what you've sort of got like, and we'll actually probably show you some of the components and talk about the rules in more detail in a minute. But what you've got is, crew cabins and batteries to power things. You've got guns and engines.
Solar panels.
That's fairly simple. The solar panels aren't in the base game.
No, but they are kind of cool.
So they come in later, but this is what I'm saying. So you've got the guns, you've got sort of things that are like super engines and super guns that require the batteries to power them. And then you've got the shields, and that's about it, really. There's the cargo holds as well, where you can store cargo that you might pick up in space. Are the aliens even in the base game?
I think they are, but I think they're the very simple ones.
So you get the gunner aliens and the engine aliens in the basic game, maybe? Actually, I think they come in an expansion. I don't think they're in the base game at all. And so then, so what happens is you get all these other things added in later. Like solar panels.
Yeah, which are cool.
Which can power sort of a component they're attached to. You get furnaces that replenish batteries if you burn cargo. You get thrusters that can sort of move your ship side to side to help you avoid asteroids. You get arsenals that can equip crew members to fight predators and commandos. You've got sort of like automated sentries that fight predators and commandos. You've got routers that can help you connect batteries and things to guns that need them for power.
Indestructible plating.
Indestructible plating that things will bounce off of. You've got double components that are things like cargoes and batteries in one. You've got the... what are they called? The automated robots?
Yeah, the crew bots.
The crew bots that you can deploy that are sort of like crew, but not really. And then you've got the stasis chambers, which are full of like...
frozen people.
Yeah, try to imagine the beginning of the film Alien. And you wake those up when your people die.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah. And then you've got the luxury cabins, which are sort of like VIP people who are traveling, because it's cheaper than an airline ticket.
Why you would ever go this way is beyond me.
But if you can safely get them to the other side of space, then you get some extra money. And you've also got the superchargers, which are things where if you just plug them into the engines or the guns or whatever, they sort of increase their effectiveness. And so we'll sort of... But
fun when they work.
You've got all of that, and the thing is you need it all. You need it all to get through these missions. Maybe not in Mission 1. In Mission 1, you're only going to need one or two things because it's fairly simple, or at level 1, sorry. But, you know, are you going to see pirates or are you going to see asteroids? You might see both, but you might just see one. But if you've got guns for pirates, or shields or whatever, and then asteroids show up, you might be in trouble or whatever. But by the time you get to like level 3 and level 4, you're going to need everything, which is great because you've got a ship that's big enough to accommodate a bit of everything. But then you've got to make it all fit in a limited amount of time.
Yep. And it literally is player versus player, because if you finish your ship first, you call it out, and then everyone else suddenly has very little time to finish.
Right, so in addition to all the different levels of ships and all the different components we've got from the expansions and all these different adventure cards we've got, we're actually using a couple of other things as well. We're using the missions box, which are specific missions that'll be turned over as we go. We're also going to be using these Evil Machinations cards, which are sort of like additional adventure cards that we have in our hand that we play into the adventure decks during the course of the game. Why are we using the Evil Machinations?
Because it's fun to be evil, come on.
But we said we're going to try and use everything, so now we're just going to try and use everything. We've also got these Rough Rider cards, which are the worst.
Why are we using those?
Yeah, that's a good question. What you do is they're basically just horrifying things that just happen.
Yeah.
To make now, you flip one of these over as you're building your ship, or before you start building, so at least you can kind of accommodate for it. If you were a very experienced trucker, you might flip over 2 or 3. But we're going to flip over one per flight. Just to give you guys an indication of what they're like and what they do. And I mean, that's sort of part of the purpose of this playthrough with all the expansions, is to show you guys what's out there for Galaxy Trucker, what you sort of get, and allow you to sort of choose what you might want. These blue aliens, they're another alien that come in one of the expansions, and they all have like sort of special... These are the aliens, by the way. They all have special missions that you can choose from. Not missions, abilities, special abilities.
They give you bonuses for having them on board and sort of accommodating their alien physiology.
Yep. You need life support systems, special life support systems for the aliens. We've also got these support team cards here. Now, these are the one good thing, the one helpful thing that comes in any of the expansions. Yep. I mean, the components are all helpful, right? But they're sort of
work.
Well, they're loaded because you actually have to fit them in your ship, and then you might not get the ones you need or the ones that fit anyway, or they might just drop off your ship halfway through.
These guys,
or at the start. These guys you sort of pick up between missions, and then they sort of give you a passive bonus as we go on. And it's funny because I don't usually play with the support teams because I find they add too much complexity to the game, which is already overly complicated. Yeah. But to be honest, if we're going to get anywhere in any of these flights,
we're going to need all the help we can get.
We're going to need the support teams. So we will just take a quick break, and then we'll reset up to show you guys all the different components that we can be putting in our ships and talk you through those. So just to be clear, I'm flying the level C ships to start with, but if it's horrifying, if it goes super bad in flights 1 and 2, probably. I might scale back to like B or A. What are you going to fly?
I'm going to be flying the A ships. Similar principle here. If I do horribly, horribly badly, I'm just going to go down to the basic ones, although I'm going to try and stick with the A ones for the whole way through. Mainly because if I drop down too much, this is going to be a little bit unfair on you, making you work with the hardest ships in the worst environment. Not that it won't be entertaining for me.
I was looking at the level 3 C ship, and it's what?
It's a small moon. Literally, it's a small moon.
So, we'll just take a quick break, and we'll be right back to show you all the different things you might find in our ships. Mm-hmm.